Hello. Today I was in my mastermind call and we were talking about stuff, and there's a few people in there that are just starting out with their business, and some of the questions that they were asking got me thinking about when I first started, which was only a year and a half ago, so not too long ago. But I was thinking about how when you first start driving, you're first learning and you're sitting in the car and it's like the steering wheel is awkward and the pedals are awkward, and like you're trying to keep the car straight and you're trying to keep your speed at a consistent, I almost said consistent temperature, at a consistent speed, and you're like trying to not hit things and oncoming cars, and just like, I remember one of the first times that I drove, I think I drove for like 30 minutes. And I was like this the whole time. I was so afraid of just all the things. And I was so tired after 30 minutes. I was tired and I was just like exhausted from processing all of the inputs that were happening all at once. And I remember thinking, like, I am never going to figure this out. Like, that's it. I'm never going to be a driver. Like, I know it's a life skill, but it's just one of those things that I'm never going to learn how to do. Like, I give up, basically. And I was 14 at the time. And my dad was like, no, you do not give up, because I'm not driving you around for the rest of your life. And so I did not give up. And now driving is easy in the sense, like, obviously I'm still like, you got to pay attention and whatever, but all of those little things that used to be really hard, I don't even think about anymore. And sometimes I drive somewhere and then I can't remember how I got there. Not like for real, like I know that I drove there, but do you ever have that where you drive to work and then you're like, man, I don't even remember the drive to work? And that only happens because we're able to automatically do a lot of the things that were so hard for us in the beginning. And entrepreneurship is a lot like that, where in the beginning it was so hard because there's so many things to think about, like, what services do I offer? Who are my clients? What I need a website. What is that going to look like? Am I on Facebook? Am I on Instagram? Like, where do I show up? Do I even want to be on social media? How do I meet people? Like, just all the questions. And it's so hard to know what needs answering, and to know like what is just crap that you find on the internet of like, oh, you definitely need to like optimize your website for SEO. I clearly don't even know what that means because I just didn't say it right. But like, you don't, the first thing that you need to learn as an entrepreneur is not SEO. I can tell you that it's not SEO. And so it's funny to think about now, like a year and a half later, all the things that are now things that I take for granted, or maybe not take for granted, but that I don't have to think about anymore. So I worked really hard to understand who my audience was and what their issues were, what their problems were, and more importantly, how do I talk to them about their problems that they're having, and how do they talk about their problems so that we can speak the same language. What products do I offer them, or what services in my case do I offer them to be able to solve their problems? What does my website look like? What are my prices like? And where do I show up? I chose Facebook. Facebook to me seemed like the place to interact with people. And I also was out doing networking, like in-person networking. That worked quite well for me as well. But just all of those things that I take for granted now, or that I just do automatically. And I think that that's really interesting to look back on now, even though it's only been a year and a half. And sometimes it's processes within our own business as well. So in the beginning, it's like, how am I gonna like invoice somebody, for example, or how do I onboard somebody, or like those processes in your business that need to happen, and you sort of figure them out, like you think it through with the knowledge that you have and create this process, and then you do it a couple times to realize like, oh, maybe step 3 doesn't work very well, and so you figure it out until you get a process that works quite well, and you think, okay, like what is my client journey from they've never heard of me all the way to become a paying client, and that gets ironed out. And you don't have to think about each step. It's sort of maybe not automated. Maybe you actually have to do those steps, but it's not something you have to be like making up all the time. Like, what is the next step that I have to take in order to accomplish whatever it is that I'm trying to do? So I would love to hear from you what it is that was hard for you when you first started, and what's easy now. Why is it easy now for you? And if you're just starting and everything feels hard, it's okay. It's supposed to feel hard. It's supposed to feel like everything's coming at you all at once and it's overwhelming, because it is overwhelming in a sense. You can't possibly look into every single thing that's out there. And in the beginning, it's really just about choosing the most important thing. What is the next thing that needs to happen? When you're really first starting out, it's getting yourself in front of your potential clients. Who are your clients? How do you serve them? And then going and getting in front of them so that you can find people to help in the beginning, because that's really what we're doing as entrepreneurs, is we're helping other people. So let me know in the comments, what is it that was hard for you when you first started and is now super easy? And if you're just starting, what's a hard thing that you hope gets easier later? And maybe some of the more experienced entrepreneurs can chat with some of the less experienced entrepreneurs, and maybe we can help each other. I'll do my best to give you what happened for me and what my opinion is on the topic. So let me know in the comments. I hope you guys are having a lovely Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, just kidding. This Sunday's Mother's Day also, friendly reminder, just found out from my sister. So call your mothers this Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow.